What's going on, people? Welcome to the opposition preview. I'm joined by Rob here from the Football Rundown, the Stockport fan channel. Make sure to check them out. The link will be in the description down below, as it is FA Cup weekend. And it's a big one, of course. Stockport, I believe, will be bringing more than 3,000 fans down to Selhurst Park. Palace have released even more tickets for the home fans, so it should be a good Sunday afternoon for both sides. As always, leave a like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Rob, great to have you on the channel.
Yeah,
How
thanks
you
for having us
been?
on.
How you been? How's the season been so far?
It's been a bit of a mixed one. Obviously, coming up last season, Champions League 2, you always sort of wonder how you're going to sort of adjust to life in League 1. I think the fans were a little bit split. Some are saying, top half would be good. Some of the people are sort of saying, can we push on playoffs again? Currently 7th, just outside the playoff places, so it's been a bit of a strange season so far. We've done well in parts and then dropped off a little bit recently.
I mean, what are the expectations then this season for Stockport?
I think they're mixed. I mean, I think the owner said we've got a top 10 budget, but then I think a lot of our business has been free transfers still. We've not spent loads of money. Some of them have been undisclosed fees, so we don't really know what our spending is. Obviously, there's teams like Birmingham in the league who can spend, it feels like, whatever they want. But yeah, I think the expectations are probably if we can be around that sort of just outside the playoffs, maybe get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, look, I mean, just from League Two to League One, it can be weird at times. You can see teams getting back-to-back promotions. You can see teams getting relegated straight away or back-to-back relegations. I mean, it is ruthless down there, especially League One level and Championship level. I know the Championship, for example, a lot of people look down on it, but it is a very difficult league. Even when you get promoted to the Champions League, to get promoted or to stay in the league, it is very difficult. Palace were there for years and years. But in terms of you and looking at this game, how important is it for Stockport realistically? Is it a game that you will field a strong 11? Do we expect any rotations from Stockport?
So we're in a bit of a strange position at the moment. First of all, the importance of the game, I think the fans will be split on it. We played, I think it was Blackburn in the first round of the League Cup, beginning of the season. I was one of them that thought, I want us to go for it. Now we had a load of injury problems at the time. We put out a kids team basically, and Blackburn went full strength and we lost 6-1.
Okay.
So it was quite a bad defeat, that one. In terms of the FA Cup, I'd like us to go for it. Palace is a big game for us because it's the first time we played a Premier League side in the FA Cup since, I think, West Ham in 2021. Since then, we played Leicester in the League Cup a couple of years ago as well. But it is a big game. In terms of how we'll go for it, again, we've got a bit of an injury problem at the moment. Obviously, just got into January. Quite a couple of loan players have been recalled. In fact, Teo Adamola on loan from Palace is one of them that's just gone back. So we're quite weak. We're quite weak in terms of what we can go with. I don't think Dave Chandler really has the option of picking a strong team or a weak team. I think he's got 11 players and he'll sort of just put together what he can. And it'll be an interesting one to see what the lineup will be in the formation as well.
You did mention Teo. What exactly has happened there between him? Like, was it like an injury concern, or did the manager just not rate him? Was he not good enough? Because he was one of those players at Crystal Palace where we were looking at him as a potential backup option going forward, but his career, it's not gone as planned so far.
No, I mean, I think he was at Belgium. He was in Belgium, I think, last year before coming to County, and he played in the Blackburn Rovers friendly where he picked up an injury. I actually went to the game. He looked quite good down the, I think it was the left-hand side in that game. I think it would have been, and he got injured. And ever since he sort of got back into the team, he's not really had sort of many opportunities in the league. It's been through sort of the EFL Trophy and opportunities like that. He's not really looked very good. He seems very quick, but it seems like other than that, his first touch seems to be a bit of a struggle as well. And I think Challoner's just not really, sort of opted to rate him. And to be honest, a lot of the players that have come in the summer, Challoner hasn't really favoured. So I think he's probably just one of many that hasn't had many opportunities.
Yeah, it's weird because Vieira gave him his debut for the Palace first team, and then we thought from there onwards he's going to be onwards and upwards, but he has been struggling, so let's see what happens with him going forward. But another player that's going to be a big miss is Louis Barry, who's gone back to Villa. And when I was looking at your team, you're scoring goals, getting assists. What a fantastic player. I mean, without him, have you got a replacement already? How's that going to work? Have you played a game without him yet?
We played Mansfield. Sorry, the Christmas period, there's been games left, right, and centre. We played against Mansfield on Saturday without him. We actually played against Birmingham without him as well because that was meant to be his last game, but he was injured.
Okay.
So we are going to struggle without him. I think we've only won 2 games in the league all season when he hasn't actually scored himself. So we are very reliant on him. Last season he got injured in October, so he was part of a really good team, but we still went on to do really well without him. And I think sort of over the summer we let a couple of players go. Some players getting sort of to the end of their career, maybe counting offering him a long enough deal, them going elsewhere. Barry coming in sort of paper over the cracks, I think. And the goals he brought, he's going to be hard to replace. And you sort of asked if there's going to be a replacement. At this point in time, we're not hearing much coming out of the club in terms of players coming in, which is a bit of a concern. So I think Palace are probably playing us at the right time, to be honest.
In terms of your system, if for those who don't really get opportunity to watch County, what type of formation approach do you have to games? Does the manager have flexibility in his system, or is it like pretty much a similar thing every single game, home or away?
So I think it is pretty much the same home or away. But at the moment, we're sort of playing a 3-4-3 sort of formation.
Okay.
I prefer a back 4, to be honest, but I think we're going with this back 3 with the wing backs as well, which can be obviously a 5 at times. The biggest problem we've got at the moment is we're not playing as well as we want to play. We look a little bit like a bit of a one-trick pony as well, playing it long a lot into the striker Carl Wootton, who's basically started every game and probably needs a bit more competition around him, to be honest, because we're a little bit limited when we play him up front.
And is that weakness coming from the wing back areas, or?
I think the weakness is coming from the whole team, really. Sort of lack of control in midfield, lack of different types of strikers. Because we have a striker, Tanto Alafi, who we brought in from Millwall, I think a couple of years ago. He was fantastic last season, somewhere around 15, 20 goals in the league. But he got injured at the end of the season and he missed pre-season and he's not really got going this season. I don't think it's a case that he can't cut it in League One, but he's not had the opportunity to build his fitness up. So I think Challoner's gone with Wootton instead. But really, I think Tanto Alafi, he's just come back from an injury as well. He should be back for Palace. He would be the ideal striker for me for this kind of game because he'll make runs in behind. He'll ask questions of that Palace defence. And Carl Wootton is a bit more of a target man type player. I'm not sure how. I mean, for me, I think Palace will be able to handle that quite easily.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who we really play, but we also play a similar system. Because I did look at your formation; it's pretty much 3 in possession, and then it can go to like 5 out possession. We have 2 central midfielders, and then 2 number 10s behind the striker. So yeah, like in terms of matching the system, I think it'll be a match. I guess it will come down to the quality because for us, we will. I mean, Glasner. I guess not the greatest thing to hear, but Glasner takes every single like cup game seriously. That's why I am curious to see exactly how he approaches this game. Even against Norwich, he picked a very strong 11. He said the same thing for this game as well. Like he wants to go for it. He wants to have a strong 11. I just wonder in terms of your strengths and weaknesses because it's a similar system. I wonder how Palace play out to that because our weakness has pretty much been with the wing back areas at times, especially down the left hand side. And Eze hasn't been performing at the similar levels, but I don't expect Eze to be starting on Sunday. So yeah, I guess only time will tell. But in terms of your strengths, then you did mention in midfield at times it can be a struggle, and up front with the target man it can be a bit easy to defend against. But what's been your main strength so far this season?
Well, I mean, this is it. Obviously, Louis Barry was our main strength, and we've not had too much time to sort of figure out what life will look like without him. Lewis Bates, another player which has been key. Brought him in from Leeds, central midfielder, but again, he's out for 3 or 4 weeks. So we're sort of going into this game with our best midfielder injured. Louis Barry, our best attacker, sort of gone back to Villa. Fraser Horsfall, our best centre back, got injured, stretched off against Rotherham. So.
Wow.
Even if we wanted to go full strength and really give it a go against you lot, I think we might have had a chance maybe if Lou Barry had stayed and if Palace fielded a weakened side, I actually felt like we could have got something from the game. But with the injuries and as I say, the sort of our sort of strongest players in the team not available or gone back to Villa, it's hard to sort of see how we'll approach the game.
Yeah, and it's just the timing is like awful for you lot, especially with like injuries in different areas of the pitch, not even just one area, different areas of the pitch, which would of course impact the dynamic of the team and the chemistry, pardon me, of the team. So look, with me, my mindset is that we cannot take this game lightly. I want to give you guys all the respect that's due, because you will be up for it. It's a tie away from home against a Premier League side. The players would want to prove themselves as well as a manager, so we can't take it easily. But the only thing that gives me hope, for example, if it was under Roy Hodgson, who, we didn't do that great in cup competitions with him, I would still be worried, because we faced Grimsby under Hodgson and we struggled. We struggled to get a result. But under Oliver Glasner, and the fact that we've had like a week's rest before this game, I do think we should have enough to cause trouble on the day. However, it's the FA Cup, and that's the magic of the cup. You never know. You never know what to expect. So, rightly so, your fans will be up for it, and your team should be up for it. And then let's see what happens. But in terms of score predictions, then, how do you see this game going?
Well, I mean, on my channel, I always do. I've started to do 2 predictions now, what my heart says and what my head says. So it's sort of a bit of a cop-out, really. Obviously, I want to win the game. But, I mean, going into it, like I said, if it had been a couple of weeks ago and we'd had Louis Barry and we'd had maybe some of our key players, you sort of feel like there's a bit of a chance, there's a slim chance. There's still a chance now, but
yeah,
I could see it a little bit more. Then I could see how Louis Barry could maybe cause something down that left-hand side. But without him, I'm sort of looking at who's come in since then, and they don't look anywhere near the same sort of quality, and that's in League One. So I'm looking at the Premier League sort of defence, and some of the players you've got, where you're sort of looking at on paper, I mean, it's just levels above. Mark Gay at the back, for example. I'm not sure, if he would necessarily would be starting the game, but he's one hell of a defender. I can't see any of our attackers getting much joy up against him, and then are we even going to get into your sort of half that often with the players that you've got, in terms of the attacking areas, Ismail Assar sort of players like that. Obviously not Elise anymore, but Eze still a fantastic player. So prediction-wise, I think we are going to lose the game. But yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, how do you see it going, though? Do you see it as like a small loss, big loss, in terms of your prediction?
It's one, isn't it? It probably is a big loss. So I mean, we lost 6-1 to Blackburn in the Carabao Cup. So you'd anticipate it to be a huge loss. But if we can sort of turn up and sort of give a respectable performance, lose the game 2-1, and put in a performance our fans can be proud of, I'd be happy with that.
And I think the best advice would be to try to keep it tight as possible up until halftime. See if you can have it 0-0, because there is no the reverse fixture. There's no second tie if it was a draw, so it goes straight to penalties. So the more you frustrate us, and then on a penalty shootout, you never know what could happen. Palace, so far this season, for example, we have struggled to create chances and score goals. Our defense has been the strong point, albeit against Arsenal, it was a struggle there defending in the box. But for the large parts of the season, it's been a strong point. So as long as you lot frustrate us, I think that gives you a better opportunity. So I think my best advice would be try to go into halftime 0-0, and then if Palace panic at that point, then you never know. It's the FA Cup. You can go both ways. But appreciate you coming on, Rob. For those who don't know, where can they find your great work?
It's mainly on YouTube. The Football Rundown. I have it on TikTok and everything as well, but a lot of it goes onto YouTube. So we do sort of match previews for County and transfer news and all that kind of stuff. So match vlogs as well. So there will be one for the Palace game on Sunday. So yeah, Football Rundown on YouTube if you want to check it out, especially after sort of the game on Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be good to get a Stockport perspective on the game, but the link will be in the description down below, people. So make sure to check that out. The Football Rundown on TikTok and YouTube as well. I'll 100% be checking it out just to see what it's like as an away fan going to Palace. Have you been to Palace before?
No, it's all new to me, really. It's all new to me.
From what I've heard, it's not great to be an away fan at Palace, apparently. But to be fair, you should have a larger section, so I don't think you'll be cramped to where all the away fans normally are, depending on where you're sitting. But apparently, the polls is very old school. Like the views are restricted. But let's see. Hopefully, you don't get the restricted seats, and it all works out well for you. But I haven't had great reviews, but thankfully, I haven't been able to experience that because I'm not an away fan when it comes to Palace. But make sure to leave a like, people, subscribe, and make sure to check out the Football Rundown and let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's it from us. And until next time, up the Palace.